A major matter has to be addressed. When the people left Egypt into the wilderness, plenty of people, all they had to do is keep calm, do what they gotta do in everyday life, listen, apply the instruction, continue forth, and within 40 days range, and afterwards too, they could have went into the land and taken it. And that generation that did not listen, even though they were given many opportunities to the repentance of Moses, Moshe, they did not want to get it. That generation, because of their condition, and all those demons, those fallen angels, including their flesh, they allowed to control them. They couldn't go in the land to pollute it. So the next generation, except other than Joshua and Caleb, had to be raised up to go in there and take the land. At least Joshua and Caleb, apart from Moshe, were making the effort to keep the faith. While the majority who did not want to listen, that generation, they had to be put away. So the thing is, when you read the Psalms, and it refers back to this account of what the people did in one area that caused them to transgress, to sin, they did not know how to get a hold of their appetites. Their choice of cravings for certain type of foods. All they had to do is be patient, and if possible, simply ask. Instead, those demons, along with their flesh, were getting a hold of them, and as shown in the Psalms, they had a nasty attitude towards Yahweh, Elohim, asking if he can prepare a table in the wilderness, and if he can do this, he can do that. And they were just craving. They had to satisfy that appetites as soon as possible because they were tired. Again, they were tired of the manna bread. Because of their attitude on top of it too, of how they responded when seeking the alternative, he was provoked and he gave them what they wanted, but it costed them. Those who had the quill sent in by the wind, they came in by the masses. Plenty for those who wanted meat so bad that they had to have it then and they had to have it now. It shows it right there in the Psalms. The meat was still in their mouths, and the wrath of Yahweh came upon them. And that's the thing. Do some people have to make the effort to snap out of it, to get out of the deception of their own cravings? their own appetites, because that happened before. There was other times where there were different individuals let their stomachs catch up to them, the cravings and the enticements it costed them. Then there's others where they disciplined themselves. They were even submitted to the Ruach HaKodesh. So as a result of walking in the Ruach HaKodesh instead of walking in the flesh, choosing the things that please the Father instead of satisfying the cravings of the flesh, desire, the mind of the flesh. And here's the other thing too, in the letters. When you look up on Google search, not everyone who says they are Israel is Israel. There's a verse from the letters where you're going to read that even though some were biologically from the linealogy of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, they did not have the spirit, the character, the nature of their ancestors, such as Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, especially Abraham. Even as Yeshua HaMashiach, Jesus Christ, addressed the scribes and Pharisees of how they were very good at their tithing to the 10th, but they omitted the other works, the works of Abraham. And when you read either Jubilees or Jasher, it shows you the works of Abraham, where Nimrod cast him into the furnace. He was not permitted to burn, and he was commanded to come out of the furnace. And everyone that day, who was pretty much alive at that time, was there to see Abraham delivered by Elohim. So as a result, he was given much riches and servants and such, and sent on his way, and plenty of people followed after him, because they realized their idols, their idols couldn't do that for them at all. They realized Elohim was with him. He even built a villa, and people would come from one side of the world, or one part of the region, going to his villa. He would feed people. He would teach them things that they need to know, especially the poor, even giving the poor money, and sending them on the way so that they could be successful as they continue forth. And even the many other deeds he did, including the war that he fought on behalf of Sodom, even to get his cousin Lot back, as well as to restore the loot that was taken accordingly, so people cannot complain about him becoming enriched, because that's one of the mindsets of some individuals out there, where you do what you do, the Father prospers you, and people get mad at you thinking that you're just there trying to get trying to get the loot, trying to get paid, trying to amass a massive increase onto yourself. And you have the common courtesy of giving what they lost back onto them, so that they don't lack anything and they can't complain. And whatever you can give accordingly, you give unto Elohim. Even as he offered, even as he gave and had the Passover meal with Melchizedek, who's a representation of the pre-incarnate Yeshua HaMashiach. And he also had the visitation of angels too, of etheric beings, to visit him, even to let him know that his wife Sarah would bear him a child, a son, even in their old age. And so his name was called Isaac Laughter. So here's the thing. Abraham, he was taught, according to the Apocrypha books, the Torah, the law. So in many other areas, he was growing and just doing the works. And right there in the law it says, be you perfect, for I am perfect. And be you Kodesh, for I am Kodesh. Be you set apart, for I am set apart. So you're supposed to grow, go into perfection. You're not supposed to be defiled in things but set apart. Not on the religious level that people like to put it, how mainstream religion likes to put it, but designated, applied, set apart unto a task. Instead of making light of it, instead of messing it up, instead of having corrupt, polluted, ulterior, and other evil and wicked motives and intents and thoughts in mind when doing such things. So as you grow, even in maturity, somewhere along the lines, you have to learn how to discipline that stomach, the appetites that's in it. From childhood, even up to now, and especially after being, for those accordingly who have been born again, a Ruach HaKodesh, you have to learn how to keep those appetites in check, including the appetites that link to the stomach, the taste buds, and the cravings thereof. Some people, they're accustomed to the alkaline diets. Some are accustomed to veganism. Others are accustomed to the paleo diet. Then you have some who's accustomed to the standard American diets. Then you have others and their own groups as well too. Some who are accustomed to the so-called keto diet, and some who are accustomed to the carnivore diets. So when it's all broken up in proportion, there's going to be different type of individuals who have their reason, purpose, and choice of how they eat. And so they have to control and discipline their appetites, their cravings, and their taste buds and desires. Because some of the things that you may be craving may not be what you need at the time. And because of the variety, consumerism, as well as other enticements, and even conditions, there's all sorts of things to buy off the store shelves, as well as the markets. And some are going to come with certain prices based on how convenient or how good you want it to be. So even in that, here and there, plenty of people have struggled and been challenged by their grocery list, their grocery bills, and what they buy in stores, because they have been accustomed to just eating whatever feels right, what is convenient, what sounds good, what their cravings communicates to them, and such. So as a result, they're conditioned to go buy whatever, to eat whatever, and so forth. especially with many who can use more discipline and perfection in that area. Because situations like this, where there's hikes on the groceries, either for a set amount of time, and even when prices change on things, especially where people used to be able to buy groceries at a decent price, save up money, buy things, even the travel and so forth. Because of the changes of lifestyles, as well as what has been permitted and allowed, and so forth. Because of all the things that factor in, so as a result, plenty can learn the more so how to discipline their appetites. Their appetites or cravings, even what sounds good, especially what's in the memory of their taste buds and so forth. Because the wilderness experience of that generation that came out of Egypt and how they behaved, even as, from what is shown in the Psalms, is a good instruction and teaching tool that you need to eat what your body needs. See, the people that were given manna, bread of the mighty, is that it's referred to, from what it's referred to. So real, true, authentic grain. It has a certain shelf life without the folic acid, without the bleach. What else? Oh yeah, that's right. The fortification in it, especially fortified iron, preservatives, and so forth. Real bread, especially when you add water, oil, salt to it, and you cook it just right, it comes out, especially when it has its sweet germ, its fiber, it's supposed to come out just right. And especially when it's true bread, not the GMO bread, not the GMO grain. So whatever omega-3s, specialized proteins from grain, from the wheat and so forth, even from the wheat berries and such, for example, as well as the use of carbohydrates and drinking water. So when you have good quality water running from a stream, that water is going to be at the right balance. It should be mineralized and everything else. And depending where you get it from, it just might be cool, especially when you're traveling in the desert, in the heat of the day, in the upper 2 digits, close to 3 digits range. You have some good quality carbohydrates, complex carbohydrates, especially with water too, from a fresh pool, from a fresh source, a fresh spring. It's gonna satiate the body, and especially that water can stick to the organs, the body, so that your body stays hydrated in the heat of the day and so forth. So even though you gain water weight, it keeps your body hydrated, gives you energy and what you need. Especially when the bread is real bread, you can expect to have omega-3s in it and so forth. That way you get what your body needs in general. Even if it's hints of omega-3 and such, as long as you can be satiated with bread and water for a certain amount of period of time, then you're able to be nourished on that until going forth so that your body gets what it essentially needs for the time being. And then when you're ready, then you can switch from just eating bread alone to eating some potential meats, herbs, vegetables, and such. And the thing too is that the mana, it tasted such a way that it was actually pretty good. But people, they got tired of it. They wanted quail. They wanted meat, and they wanted it bad. And that's the thing. If you know what to buy out there, they get from the store shelves, as well as the internet too, you can actually live on a very low maintenance type of diet. So you can actually save a lot of money if you know what you're doing. Eat that way, and when you do that, you can actually save some money, especially when you buy in bulk from the essential things such as the products that contain minerals and such. So if you can get your minerals, get good quality water, salt, and whether you eat the vegetables or you eat the meat, one of those two you decide from, you eat between that, you go with that so-called elimination diet or that preference. For example, if you're going to go vegan, then alkaline, or go to carnivore at one of the two extremes as a so-called elimination diet, there's a possibility you can save money. So your body gets what it needs that you put in it. It has the essential proteins, what they call protein, because in the field of the alkaline diet field, they call protein something else. They have they break down the meaning of what protein is. Because certain animals out there, they don't need that much protein. They eat mostly carbohydrates, yet they're strong, like the apes. But specifically to the point, there's plenty of bodies where they're designed to consume protein, fat, oil, of the two, with the protein, as well as salt, any seasonings you can include as well too, to give variety to it, and just take your minerals and what you need it as well, wherever it may be that your body needs. You eat like that, you can save a good amount of money because you're eating a specific set of food, and you don't have to go out there and buy all sorts of things like that. One day some people are trying to eat, for example, if they're eating meat, one day they'll be eating beef, next day chicken, next day fish, and some other stuff, whatever it may be, and just use it like that. If they're gonna mix up their meat, especially if they get game meat, deer, elk, that type. So what's being said here is that when you're looking at the prices of food right now and how things are changing, people want to say about this and that when it comes to food. So if you can discipline your body to eat a specific diet to limit what you're going to go buy, so you can actually save some money instead of just spending your money on what sounds good right now, then you can discipline yourself, and if you can, gradually get off the things that you don't really need to eat, but you just eat them because they taste good and they just sound good, and so forth. You can save money, discipline yourself to the point where you can eat a specific set of food as long as you can switch up the spices, herbs, some of the ingredients. You can eat the same thing for months on end and still be content. Because if you can just think about something that you're craving right now and you gotta have it right now, and you'll be tired if you continue to eat certain foods. That's when you need to stop yourself and discipline your body and resist those appetites, those cravings. If possible, get help. That way those cravings do not control you. For example, there's cravings for sugar cane, cravings for chocolate, cravings for dairy, cravings for bread, simple carbohydrates, cravings for all sorts of treats, cravings for fast food, especially cravings for different type of drinks, cravings for ice cream, other stuff that you can do without. And this, of course, the other part of it too, where when you can have discipline on how you eat, and if you can at least have some self-control about it too, then you can potentially have a treat on the side. Some cases, once a week or twice a week. Not to go back to how you used to eat, where you just ate whatever, but have some control and discipline. That way you can control the budget, control what goes on your plate or in your bowl, and decide carefully and precisely how many calories are you going to intake. Because for some people, when they have diets such as the carnivore diet or the vegan diets, they have the potential to save money, especially those on carnivore, where you have meat, oil, salt, seasoning, and some water. And for those of you who are going to, out of personal experience, those of you who are going to choose or decide to go on carnivore, if you cannot buy or afford decent quality of beef from the packets, if you can get canned beef, at least one or two for yourself each day, get yourself some oil or tallow, beef tallow, or avocado oil, olive oil. Once in a while, use coconut oil if you have to, but not often, so it doesn't raise your blood pressure. Get some salts, some good quality salt if you can. Like a decent sea salt that's grounded, if possible. And get some different type of seasonings, such as seasonings that may be ready to go, like taco seasoning, curry, Italian seasoning, garlic, pepper, garlic and pepper if needed, or just garlic. There's a couple other varieties out there too. Some people may use seasoning packets or combinations just so they can give us some variety, so they can switch between it every other day or every 2 days. Because as long as you cook your food just right or prepare your food just right, and you have your minerals and everything else you need to consume, your body should be satiated. And mentioning too, if you're gonna buy the cheap meats like the canned beef, at least potentially get some Corolla. There's Corolla, and then there's the nut spirulina. Basically, you're gonna get Corolla. You're supposed to get there's this brand of it's probably Corolla. It's liquid form. You get a 16 ounce of water, or at least an 8. You take a tablespoon of that, and it's just liquid green. You know, the stuff that's inside the plants that gets to the green color. So your greens in your liquid form. You take a tablespoon of that, at least put in 8 ounces of water, stir it in, and then you drink it. That way, it gives you the cleansing that your body can use. And that's when you're eating cheap meat as well, of course. Because it's going to have it will have the preservatives in it too. So cleansing and preservatives and anything else in your meats, it helps. And then when you have your minerals and you're drinking water, there's different mineral blends so that you don't need to add anything else to it. There's some where you can add a pinch of salt, that's it. But usually mineralized water, when you shake it and let it sit, let it just saturate in the water and you drink it, your water has a chance to have that sweet taste to it. So you don't really need to get the need to drink or eat something sweet, because you get that mineral taste from the water, or that's included with the water, however you take your minerals. Your water in some shape, fashion, or form has to be salted as well too, so your body can hold the water and it can go into your cells. Usually water that's ready to drink, it's normally running, it has minerals, and a good chance it's been through some salt, so it's collected some salt. And when you drink that kind of good quality water, it actually can stick to your body, satiate your thirst, and that's a chance to taste sweet water, like a sweet taste to it, for what they call it. You can go look up sweet water, because as long as your water has minerals in it, and it's potentially alkalized water too, or alkaline water, or in some form it's been filtered properly, it should have a decent taste to it, so it can actually be drank instead of just being plain. And why this all adds up is because when you know what you're doing, you can save money, have some self-control, some discipline, temperance, and train your body to eat what it needs instead of just eating whatever, because not only the present, but in the future, you may not know if you will be challenged in that area, where you need to be content with what's before you on that plate or in your hands.